I hope you enjoy this story. Spouse's younger sibling perched on his knee during our gathering. I departed for the evening, and now he is residing with his mother, filled with anger towards me. I remain unsettled, shaken by everything, and I'm so sorry for my rambling. My husband, Jake, and I have been married for 3 years, and from the beginning he was very close with his best friend's sister, Cindy Aiton-Well. My husband would often talk about her and tell me how he had seen her grow up throughout the years. Cindy is always very bubbly and seems very fond of Jake as well. I remember when we were dating, she would ask to come along on our dates a lot. I never really said anything, as I like spending time with her as well. She was like a little sister to me. When we announced our engagement, she asked my husband to better not forget her after being a married man and to still hang out with her. Well, we got married, and I even made her my bridesmaid. Soon we moved to a different state and lost contact. Now Jake's best friend has come to visit and is staying with us for some time, and Cindy has come along as well. The moment she saw us, the first thing she said was how hot my husband had gotten, and she was glad he didn't look like those boring married men. Then, throughout their stay, Cindy would ignore my presence and get way too close to Jake. I told Jake that it looked a bit inappropriate and asked him to tell Cindy to tone it down, but he said that Cindy is just a bit childish and is that way with everybody. Well, on their last day, we decided to host a dinner party for everybody. During the party, I was with Jake when Cindy came and told me, "Oh, I need to steal your husband," for a while. Before I could say anything, she grabbed Jake's hand and took him to play games. I ignored it since it was their last, but then throughout the dinner she was getting way too close to Jake and would just drag him away whenever I would be around, while giggling at me. When everybody sat for dinner, I sat beside Jake and Cindy, came in last. She then said, "Oh, there is no seat," and then just went and sat on my husband's lap. Everybody was surprised, and Jake said, laughing, "Cindy, stop acting like a kid. You're not a kid anymore." Cindy started laughing, saying it was a joke, and got up and sat on the other seat while giggling at me. Yeah. I was so angry with the disrespect and with the fact that Jake was so cool with it, but I didn't want to say anything bad, so I excused myself, took my car, and went out. About 1 hour later, Jake called me, asking where I was. I told him I was going to my friend's house, and I would come back after Cindy had left. I know what I did was terrible, but I was so angry at that time that if I had stayed there any longer, I would have probably started fighting or crying. I came the next day, and Cindy and her family had left. Jake was very pissed and said I took things too far. I started crying and told him how everything made me feel. He said it was horrible to think such things about Cindy, and that she was like his sister. I told him that I did not doubt his intentions, but I was hurt by Cindy's disrespectful behaviour and that he was enabling her by not saying anything. He started saying that I sounded ridiculous and couldn't even take a joke, referring to the sitting on lap incident. I said that regardless, I don't want her in my house again. To top it off, Cindy sent me a message saying that she was sorry about making me so insecure and that she would make sure to make me feel better. But I should not have left, as it was pretty childish and kind of spoiled the mood. It felt so backhanded that I didn't reply to her. I just told my husband he needs to maintain a distance from Cindy. He asked if I was giving him an ultimatum. I asked if he would go as far as disregarding and disrespecting my feelings for Cindy. This really rubbed my husband the wrong way, and he said, since I have such disgusting thoughts in my mind and am giving him an ultimatum anyway, then he might as well leave, because he cannot live with such an insecure person who has such disgusting thoughts about him. Then he packed a bag and left for his mother's place. I have tried apologising numerous times, saying how sorry I am for everything. He is ignoring my texts and calls. Later, Cindy's brother texted me and called me a bunch of names to think like that about his sister, saying Jake should just leave me, and that a disgusting person like me deserves to be alone. I could not stop crying after that. I don't know how to fix this. Is there a way to even come back? Was I so wrong to deserve this? I don't know any more info for those who are asking about our ages. We are both 25 years old, just months apart now. At the dinner party, it was me, Cindy, her brother, and his girlfriend, and their cousin with his boyfriend. It wasn't a big dinner, And when Cindy sat on my husband's lap, everybody went silent. But as my husband laughed it off, they didn't say anything either. I think if everyone had seen I was not okay, things would have been awkward. I don't know what happened after I left. Maybe they said something to Cindy or not. I don't know. I was just so overwhelmed and so embarrassed with everything that I didn't want to talk about it anymore. However, now I will definitely reach out to other people who were there and ask them about what happened after I left and what they think of the situation. Update 1. Thank you all for responding in the people who gave me good advice and personal messages. I couldn't read all the comments, but now I know. I know my feelings are valid, and Cindy crossed boundaries now. During the dinner, Cindy, her brother Sean, his girlfriend, and their cousin Derek, also a good friend of my husband with his boyfriend, were here. So I called Derek and asked about the situation and what happened after I left. He was sympathetic and said that after I left, at first they thought I would come back after some time. However, things were really awkward when I didn't come back. Sean's girlfriend told Cindy that she was disrespectful for doing that. Derek and his BF also said the same thing. To this, Cindy started crying, saying they didn't have to corner her and attack her over a silly joke that she didn't know it would get so out of hand. She then left the room while crying. Jake didn't know what to say, and everybody left early the next day. Derek also said that Cindy has always had issues with boundaries, and when he entered produced as BF to everybody, Cindy would get too close, and would joke that she was just checking if he was really gay. They were really uncomfortable with it as well, so Derek confronted her, to which Cindy rolled her eyes and said they couldn't take a joke and eventually stopped. This all sounds so bizarre. I don't know what's going on with Cindy. Sean's girlfriend also texted me saying she was sorry about what happened. I told her how Sean's message was inappropriate, but she had no idea about the text. So I sent her a screenshot and asked her to tell Sean not to harass me again. She was very apologetic and said she would talk to him. Then my mill called and asked what was going on that Jake didn't tell her and only said we had an argument. I was a bit hesitant to tell her, but eventually told her everything. She was furious at my husband. She said Jake and her would be coming to our house so we could all talk. So yeah, I am just waiting for them to arrive and really nervous. I don't know if what I did was right or wrong, but we will see. As for people saying my husband is some pedo or they are having an affair, I know this is furthest from the truth. I never questioned his intentions, but what hurt me was Cindy's lack of respect for me. Update 2. So my meal came with my husband, and well, the talk happened. There were a lot of things, but I will try to summarise them basically. Jake apologised, to me first, and tried to explain his POV. He said that he was angry because, I left without saying anything for the whole night, when he was literally trying just to defuse the situation and tried to laugh it off because it was so awkward. He didn't know what else to do, but instead of communicating, I just left him in that situation. He hadn't seen his friends in a long time and just wanted the dinner to be peaceful. Cindy was going back anyway, and we would most likely never meet her again. B. He acknowledged Cindy was indeed overstepping boundaries, but he didn't know how to bring it up since he had literally seen her growing up, and she is like a little sister to him. Also, she acts like that with everyone. He thought that it was just for a few days, and he wanted no drama during their stay, so he would just brush it off. He did acknowledge he was wrong about not saying anything. See, he was already really worried and sad because I just left with no explanations. Even after I came back, I did not ask how he felt once. He was also very overwhelmed with everything, and felt I was accusing him of not doing anything when he literally pushed her off as politely as possible when she tried to sit on him. He felt I was attacking his character, and even gave the ultimatum, which made him so sad, as he felt as if I thought that little of him. It wasn't about Cindy, but about how easy it was for me to question his son's sincerity. He said after that dinner he was going to go extremely Elsie with her anyway. D. He apologised for not speaking up about Cindy's disrespect towards me, and for also leaving like that. Then, after Jake said everything, Mill explained the situation to Jake from her perspective. She scolded him a lot as well. In short, she told him that as a husband, it was his responsibility to make me feel like I was his priority, and that he disappointed me the moment I had to come to him to ask to establish boundaries. She said that as a husband, it was his duty that I never would have to come to him about this in the first place. She also asked him how he would have felt had it been a guy on my lap, and he had no answer to it. She told him that what I did was an eruption of suppressed feelings, and that as a husband it was his duty to go after me and never let me leave in the first place. There were a lot of things said by her, and Jake seemed to realise and sincerely apologised for his actions. She ended by telling him that if he ever pulled such a stunt again, to not expect her to take him in. Later, she took me for a walk. It was just the two of us, and there she explained some things to me as well. She said that she was sorry for everything, but told me that even at her house Jake was distraught. He didn't tell her because he most likely knew he was wrong, but was overwhelmed by everything as well. She said she in no way excused her son's behaviour, but would hope that I would forgive him. She also said that in no circumstances did I need to leave my house, as it was my house and my family. She said I shouldn't be afraid to speak my mind if anything makes me uncomfortable, and to talk to her if Jake does something stupid again, and she will set him straight. She hoped we would work it out since she had seen our love for each other, and it would be sad to see us split up due to some disrespectful brat, her words. She said she could not have a say in our issues, but suggested that we should get counselling to understand each other better. She even brought ice cream for me. I know it's a bit childish, but she said sweet things work as a charm when people are upset. And well, she was right. Later, it was awkward at night. Jake came to our room, but we didn't know what to say. After a while, we talked and both apologised to each other. However, I did say that I was angry at him for telling Sean everything and was deeply hurt by the text he sent me. He said he didn't know what I was talking about, and I showed him the IE texts. He said he didn't tell Shan about our fight, and only told him that he was at his mum's place. He called Sean, and well, it turns out Sean told Cindy and told her how she went too far at the party. Then Cindy made a huge sob story about how I was passive-aggressive with her the whole time, how I would always try to question her character, and act insecure and jealous. She even went on to say that I was always like that with her, even when she was a kid, and that I never liked her and always tried to manipulate people into thinking I was an angel while she was a slut. Well, that made him angry to think about how I had been treating Cindy, and he sent those texts. Jake and I were baffled by such accusations, and he tried to explain to Sean how it wasn't true. But then Jake just let it be, and decided to go no contact with Cindy and extremely Elsie with Sean. Jake apologised again, and we just cuddled and slept. And now Cindy is out of our lives for good, and we have decided to go to counselling for better communication in the future. Let's see how everything goes in the future. But yeah, we are not getting divorced. I know a lot of you guys wanted me to show Jake this post, but he was so sad and got scolded a lot already, so I decided not to show him for now, maybe in the future. Sorry for all this rambling. Have a good day, people. Edit. I read people saying we should be NC with Sean too, and I felt that it would be best to let that friendship go as well. So I talked to my husband about it, and he agreed, so he sent a text to Sean stating we could not be friends with him, and then he blocked him as well. To clarify, I have somewhat forgiven Jake for his actions, but I told him he needs to rebuild the trust one had, so I know I can rely on him in situations like that. He agreed, and we will get the couples counselling as well. Thank you all for your advice. You all made me feel less lonely in all of this. Now on to the next story. Story 2 discovered my girlfriend's pregnancy was the result of an affair at Bible camp. When she tried to pin it on me, I exposed the truth. My girlfriend, 25, and I, 27, have been dating for about 2 years. The first few months of the relationship were blissful, and for a while I thought she was the one for me. We lived together in the same 2-bedroom apartment, feeding off of each other's monthly salaries. I work as a junior sales representative, while she does some receptionist work at a 3-star hotel a few blocks from where I live. With that, it was safe to say that we were doing okay financially, and we were ready to take our relationship to a whole new level. One day, she took me to her parents' house and we stayed there for 2 whole weeks. They were really nice to me, and I enjoyed the mini vacation except for the no having sex under their roof part. But one thing I found interesting and a bit strange was how she was still in touch with family friends and all their children that she had grown up with. In this group of friends, there was one guy that in my eyes stood out as a big threat to our relationship. His name was Day. He was 6 feet 2 inches, dark and tall, with the habit of always whispering in my girlfriend's ear and making her laugh. On several occasions. My girlfriend's mother used to jokingly refer to him as my competition, a joke that I don't normally take lightly. This development bothered me, so I decided to ask my girlfriend about him. She brushed me off the second time, this time saying, "You worry too much. I only have eyes for you. I still have my doubts about him, but he managed to reassure me in the end. One day, she and her whole family went on a Bible camp retreat for 1 week in the woods. I didn't bother to tag along because I wasn't too big on Christianity. Plus, I wasn't invited. My girlfriend said that some of their family friends were coming to the camp too, including David's parents. I asked if David would be there, and she said he wouldn't, so I didn't see any more reason to worry. 2 days into the meal. Retreat. Calls to her number stopped going through. I tried and tried again, but still her phone was switched off, so I stopped trying and waited for her to come back. When she was back, I asked her about her phone being switched off all the time, and she said, "We were in the woods, what do you expect?" So I didn't ask again. I also asked if David was there with them, and she said he wasn't, so for a while I believed we were fine. Fast forward to about 2 months after her trip, I attended the birthday party of one of my closest friends. At the club, there was a familiar face who kept on staring at me until I walked up to her to talk. She introduced herself as Angela and said we had met before at my girlfriend's dad's house. She was David's girlfriend who came with him on one of our visits to my girlfriend's house. We talked about a lot of things, and it turns out that I wasn't the only one who was insecure about my girlfriend's and David's weird relationship. She told me how he left her all alone for 1 week in the name of some Bible camp she was sure my girlfriend also attended. I didn't tell her she was right, or that my girlfriend had told me that David wasn't there. I just nodded in agreement to everything she said, too confused and betrayed to say another word. When I got home, I decided not to jump to any drastic conclusions. I needed leverage over her, some evidence to prove my doubts, so I decided to check her phone, which was the only place I could find what I was looking for. So one day, when she was in the shower, I snooked, and as soon as I unlocked it, her messaging app immediately popped up on the screen, with David's name being the first on the list. From the look of it, I realised they were fighting about something, but what I decided to look deeper and behold there, it was the greatest betrayal I have ever experienced in my lifetime. She told him she was pregnant with his baby, but he denied it, saying that he wasn't the only partner she had. She told him that it wasn't possible for the baby to be mine, that she had done an ultrasound, and according to the results, the timing wasn't right, as we weren't intimate during that 1 week of camp, and a few weeks preceding and immediately after that week due to circumstances, but mostly because of her own reluctance. He then proceeded to blame her for seducing him throughout camp and told her that he wasn't ready to be a father just yet. After about a full page of insults and red-faced emojis, they both decided to pin the pregnancy on me. It was better for everyone that way since I loved kids so much, and he didn't want anything to do with the child. I was shocked, beyond words that I wasn't sure how. I still managed to take a screenshot of the chat and send it to my phone before she was done showering. The following day, she dropped the bomb on me. She told me that she had news for me and didn't know if it was good or bad news, depending on how I would take it. Then she said she was pregnant. I wanted to react to ask more questions, but I figured it was only going to make her suspicious, so I smiled and embraced her and said it was wonderful news. She went to work that day feeling happy and oblivious to what was really on my mind. I called my lawyer friend for advice, and he told me that I needed to order a prenatal paternity test via court as proof that I wasn't a father before the baby was born, and she put my name on the birth certificate. My brain was befuddled, as I didn't know where to start. If I asked her nicely, she would know something was up and refuse. If I asked her forcibly, she would outrightly refuse. I couldn't think of anything else, so I decided to pack my bags and leave the house. She began to call my phone and tried so hard to reach me when she realised I was gone, I didn't pick up, blocking her number. Eventually, about a week after I left, she decided she was ready to announce to the world that she was expecting, posting, her baby's ultrasound on Facebook. She captioned it with a toughing speech about the joys and sorrows of motherhood. Then she tagged me in the post. Someone asked who the father was in the comments, and that was when she began dragging me, telling everyone that I ran away and deserted my child. I couldn't take it anymore, all the manipulations, all the lies. I had to react fast and clear my name. So I made a post on my FB page with a screenshot I took from her phone, where they both admitted it was his baby and agreed to pin the pregnancy on me. I tagged her and captioned, "I don't think so." In only a matter of minutes, the post exploded, and that was when all hell broke loose. She kept spamming me on Messenger asking me to take down the post, begging and pleading, asking me to think about our child and not embarrass her. Like that, my post got flooded with likes and comments, and my inbox was full of her family spamming, me, calling me every name under the sun, and people who were curious and concerned about me. I refused to take the post down. Why would I even? David snuck into my DM and typed, "Not cool, bro, not cool. I don't think so. Pinning a child that isn't mine on me now, that is not cool." I managed to get a prenatal paternity test with the help of her parents, who just wanted closure from all the embarrassment and to find the real dad to pin the child's support on him. The court decided that the baby wasn't mine, and my lawyers sent her a cease and desist to prevent her from putting my name on the birth certificate. Once it was all over, we went our separate ways, and now I am in a very serious relationship with Angela, David's ex-girlfriend. The both of us have gone through so much in the hands of those two monsters that now it was only right we found love in each other's arms.